The master will kill you for this, but not fast. Slowly. Oh, so slowly.
This is the Horrible Film School. Take a seat and slowly rip open your trapper keepers. I'm Chris, and I'm here with Professor Hootie.
What's up, fellas? This Daywalker is ready to kill some bloodsuckers.
The Deacon Frost reference. Appreciate that. Also joined by Evil Joey, a.k.a. Professor Nasty.
So would that make me like Pearl? Like I'm the holder of all the vampiric information?
All right, boys. Before we hop into today's episode, I thought we could try a bit of a new segment out here, talk about a little bit of news in the horror community. I know we like to promote what's to come and what we're excited about. So I had two bits of information I pulled off the interwebs in the last 24 hours I want to talk to you boys about. First things first, officially, as of today, the day of this recording, Terrifier 3 has wrapped filming. It's done, boys.
Lego! Is it still
Art is in the can.
Slated for the holiday season?
Papa's got a brand new bag.
We got an official synopsis as of this moment. It says, Art the Clown is set to unleash chaos on the unsuspecting residents of Miles County as they peacefully drift off to sleep on Christmas Eve.
Was it one of you guys who was telling us that they filmed a sequence in this new one that was like so fucked up that the guy who plays Art got like sick?
Yeah, I believe Hootie had mentioned that before.
Again, I don't know if that's something to make you go watch the film or not.
Oh,
I'm not
God,
sure it
yes.
is, but
Free promo, baby. It's like when the second one had its theatrical run, they were talking about people vomiting, leaving the theaters and stuff, which was the only reason we ever even covered this series, because I heard that. I was like, let's watch that on this show.
Could you imagine being in a movie theater and somebody openly vomiting from the fact they're watching something?
You get the big-ass bucket of popcorn, just filling it up.
I'm bringing a barf bag. I'm bringing a fucking pair of adult diapers. I don't know what this movie's got in fucking store. I'm gonna bring that little fuck toy Dune popcorn
the
bucket.
sandworm
I'm
bucket.
fucking bringing it all, baby.
The sandworm fleshlight bucket.
I'm gonna enjoy this movie the way it was meant to be enjoyed, with my dick in the goddamn Dune bucket and shitting myself.
I need us showing up with official Horrible Film School license Depends, bright red Depends, just ready to go.
You get them red, so when you do bleed, no one can see you bleed, just like Daredevil.
Bleeding out of your ass? The fuck is wrong with you?
Clenching that tight, man.
We're getting a little bit older. Colonoscopy is like right around the corner.
I actually talked to Doc about that not long ago.
Jesus
Apparently
Christ.
it's 45. It's not 40 now, so.
Hell of a conversation.
40. I just asked. I was like, I never talked to a doctor about this, so is this something I got to do soon? I got some time. We got some time.
Dude, I gotta stop eating microwave lasagna. Like, I guarantee I have so many polyps in my fucking asshole.
Stouffer's is pretty good.
They're gonna be They're gonna be scooping me out like my goddamn ice cream.
You get the family size Stouffer's lasagna? Something about the family size. It changes it up.
Fat boy.
It changes it up.
Fat boy.
I'm much more reasonable. I get the extra meat. It's called the Meat Lovers, and it's like the personal
Lasagna?
size. But I make two of them.
But you make two of them.
It's a little bit less.
I knew he was going to say two.
It's a little bit less than family size.
I felt it coming.
Oh, when it comes to family size, it's all about fucking Salisbury steak. Because it's 5 steaks.
5 steaks?
I'm going to blow y'all's fucking mind. In this box, if this is the only thing you eat all day, it's 1,500 calories. You can lose fucking weight eating goddamn Stouffer Salisbury steaks.
See, this is what I'm talking about. This is quality information here.
These are health hacks right here. How much protein you got in there? You probably got a good
Man,
200,
it's like
200 grams of protein.
200 grams of protein. But it's like you literally took a salt and injected it straight into your veins.
Yeah, I've ever had Stouffer Salisbury steak. I'm kind of intrigued.
This shit is so good.
No
It's
free
like
promos, man.
it's like shit tier. It's like dog food, but I fucking love it.
I'm pretty sure it's like one level above dog food, if that. It's very close.
No. That's Banner sausage.
And we have reached the corner of our podcast that is the dad conversations.
Dog food or man food? Here's the daily testament of what will Joey eat.
See, here's the thing. I'm already preparing myself for when the eventual nuclear bombs
Is this a
go
Fallout
off
reference?
and everything. Fallout reference. I'll be like just fine eating dog food. You guys are gonna be, oh, I'm gonna fucking perish. I can't eat dog food. I'm out here just eating dog food and rocks and all sorts of shit.
Was it just me, or in the Fallout series, did the spam actually look pretty good?
Spam didn't look bad.
First of
I've
all,
never been a
it's called-
spam
What's
guy.
that?
I'm gonna go ahead and fact check you. It's called cram.
Well, whatever.
Okay,
Same
excuse
thing.
us.
Same
Excuse
thing.
us. Nerd alert.
But yeah, it's just spam.
Also, one more thing I wanted to highlight, and I shared this with you boys via the official Horrible Film School chat channel. We got an official trailer for Maxine. That's Maxine with 3 X's. Boys, the trailer dropped. Looks fucking sick. Set to open nationwide on July 5th of this very year, 2024.
Just so happens to be starring the Queen, Mia Goth.
Yeah, God, baby. I like seeing her little the thumbnail that pops up in our chat, like her face is on it. Just makes you smile every time it's time to talk to you dudes.
This is officially a U2 series. I loved X. I did not love the sequel.
Pearl? You didn't like Pearl?
Wow. He didn't
I
even
just
want to
did- I
name
didn't
the
like-
sequel. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Wow. Well, I heard from, read a quote, of course, reading up on the trailer drop. Mia Goth says it's the best of the trilogy by far.
Of course
Best
she's going to
script,
say
at
that.
least.
She's
Best
putting it
script,
back in.
at least, she said. So
It's an interesting trailer for sure because you can see how the studio really opened up the checkbook for Ty West in terms of like
Yeah.
production value and like the cast.
there's some real actors in there. Kevin Bacon
it's
is like
big.
made up in there. It's going to be the shit, man.
The most intriguing part for me is the whole Richie Ramirez, the Night Stalker. I don't know if they explicitly say it's Richie Ramirez or not, but
No, it's got to be, right?
that's so fucking cool to me.
Here's the official synopsis. In 1980s, Hollywood adult film star and aspiring actress Maxine Minks, awesome fucking name, finally gets a big break, but as a mysterious killer stalks the starlets of Hollywood, a trail of blood threatens to reveal her sinister past. See Maxine take out the Night Stalker? That'd be fucking sick, bro.
Now that's a good story.
It's a great story. And I think with kind of like the way Ty West talked about it is X, of course, was an homage to 70s film, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, all that good stuff. Pearl was Golden Age of Hollywood, Wizard of Oz, and this is like the boom of the VHS, the 80s, the porn, all that stuff that kind of took over. So
There's a scene in the in the trailer where they're at like the Bates Motel.
yeah, so she must be on set at the Universal Studios there.
It sounds like they really did unload the checkbook then.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's massive. It's massive in comparison to the previous movies. Which Pearl's
Farmhouse.
production was pretty had to be, right?
Yeah, the guy, the theater
guy.
projectionist from Pearl, the second one, that's the new Superman. So got a little bit of star power in retrospect. But this one's definitely got like legitimate, recognizable actors in it, which is kind of new for that franchise.
I don't. That man's not going to be a good Superman.
We said the same thing about Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill's jacked to the
We said the
fucking
same
gills,
thing
baby.
about Heath Ledger as the Joker.
Oh, you can't really talk about body physiology when it comes to superheroes anymore. You see Robert Pattinson as the Batman.
This is true. Okay, I'm stupid. I understand.
Dude,
That's
ain't
very
nobody
true.
saying you're stupid. It's just
Get back in your corner,
the dude's
Hootie.
real thin.
No, I'm saying the Batman was great with him. So yeah,
Anybody could do it. He is a good actor though, and I can't shit on Mr. Pattinson.
that was a really good film though, just not because of him.
God,
I
it
mean,
was so
he was
fucking
good in
long.
It was very long.
It was
great.
I will watch it again.
Opening night theaters, it was a banger. IMAX.
Jeffrey Wright made it good. There we go.
I am hyped for
was
the
great as
Penguin miniseries or series on HBO.
Yeah, I think it's going to be ongoing, maybe.
In a Violent Nature. That's going to be fucking dope. Comes out the end of May. I mean, all it is just more how do they word it in Fright Night? More madmen in hockey masks hacking up teenagers.
Teenage
So, yeah.
babysitters.
Any more Jason clones I can get, I'm all for. But yeah, it's from the perspective of, the killer, so it's going to be pretty interesting.
All right, without further ado, today's assignment is 1985's Fright Night. The lesson. there are good reasons to be afraid of the dark. And this one is in Mr. Hootie's lap today.
It feels good to be back in the host seat. Kind of. There's a lot of pressure here, boys. I forget
It's
how
a lot
the
of pressure.
is.
This is one of my favorite movies. Don't fuck it up.
I understand.
Ooh, boy.
I understand. Well, if it makes you feel any better, I really did a deep dive into this film. I watched this one.
great.
I watched the remake. I listened to the soundtrack. So
He said, I'm going in.
I try to find a behind-the-scenes YouTube documentary. It doesn't exist, at least that I could find. But anyway, so let's get into this. First off, as we always start with the fan reviews, seeing what the listeners think of the film. First up, from Ranking Ease from January 2006, titled Scary 80s Soundtrack. One more film about vampires. Yeah. This time they merged bloodsuckers and the typical 80s teenage horror stuff. It looks more like a parody than like a true horror movie, and I don't think anybody, not even the actors, took this project very seriously. And neither did I. So the B-series lovers will enjoy Fright Night, but the only scary thing in this movie is the soundtrack. Say your prayers before listening to it. What else could I say about it? Man, it doesn't even deserve the compulsory 10 lines. Not sure what that means. 3 out of 10 stars.
I mean, as far as him saying that it was kind of campy or cheesy, I think is what the person was trying to allude to at one point. I can see that. I mean, that's part of the 80s, you know, that sort of tone. But in terms of the movie not having any legitimate scares or being creepy at all, I feel like they missed the mark on that. The reviewer, not the movie.
I will say a little side note to the researcher here, me and myself. It was hard to find negative reviews on this film. So they are far and few between.
It's also tricky looking at, like, this person's talking about from a 2006 perspective, and then me watching this, of course, I got Lost Boys on my mind. I got 100 different movies I've seen in this same vein from what would be after this movie. So the tone isn't that jarring to me as it seems to be to this reviewer.
I'm assuming 06, I mean, you can correct me, I'm not that much of a resource for this franchise, but this is before Twilight, because you thought vampires in modern day.
Yeah, 08 I think is the first Twilight movie. The books might have been coming out around that time.
Look at him, Joey. I roped him in to letting us know. Exactly,
I like dates, baby.
Got him.
Got him.
I like numbers. But I mean, we'd seen all the, like, the 90s vampire, the Dracula and all that stuff. We'd seen, maybe this person, like I said, had not been exposed to vampires in that way, but camp plays really well with vampires. That's seems like a natural combination.
I mean, vampires are kind of it's a goofy character if you really think about it. So,
Well, this movie was made to, like, kind of appeal to a younger audience, like a younger teenage audience, and they want that. Like the whole teenagers being involved with with vampires. This kind of kicked that off. Like, you had Lost Boys in '87, you had Near Dark in '87.
Silver Bullet. Never mind. Never mind.
No, that was that like the late '70s, early '80s?
I'm going to say 80.
Was it
82,
It wasn't
83.
Nick Nolte. It was fucking
Gary Busey.
Gary Busey.
Gary Busey
I always get
and
those
Corey
two
Haim.
guys, like, mixed up, man.
God,
I don't
love
know
Silver
why,
Bullet so
but I
much.
do.
All right, next up, positive review from Brad Bear 659038. Hopefully that's not his cell block number. From September 2022, titled My Introduction to Horror Films. I watched this film back in '87 when I was in fact 7, and it kicked off a love for horror that I still have to this day. I don't know what it is about this film that attracts people to it, but I've nailed down through the years what makes it special to me. It's one of the first horror films, and that's why I enjoy it, with a protagonist that also loves horror films. And one of his favorite late-night horror hosts also becomes the main character. It not only sparked my love for horror, it also sparked my love for horror hosts. Svengoolie, Elvira, and the classic legendary Joe Bob have shaped my love of films and really my entire life. Tom Holland had something special here, and he knew it. This film is perfect in every conceivable way. 10 out of 10 stars.
My man. I've read people compare it to, was it Hitchcock with Rear Window?
Yeah, Rear Window is a Hitchcock movie.
Yeah, it's like Rear Window meets a Boy Who Cried Wolf type deal.
Yeah, spying on your neighbors, basically. Yeah, I could see that. I didn't put that together, but yeah. But yeah, it's very meta, and like we know the 90s, how meta horror movies eventually became after Scream and all that, so definitely set the template.
And just like this reviewer, this was one of their first horror movies they were introduced to as a child, or when they were younger. Not everybody's as blessed as we were with seeing horror movies when we were like 3 and 4 years old.
What a blessing.
I know you said before you don't recall seeing this movie when we were younger, Chris. However, the way we were introduced to The Lost Boys, that was definitely one of the first horror movies I remember.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it's stuck with us for ever since then, you know. So the way we were brought up with that movie, this person was obviously brought up with the Fright Night.
Yeah, and kind of he was talking about Elvira and all like the horror movie hosts.
Svengali, not Svengoolie, motherfucker over here talking about jacking off or some shit. Fucking Svengoolie all over. But those people were pretty much like Peter Vincent in this movie. So.
But the fact that he highlights them and how they kind of like shaped his interest in movies is kind of like a cool, like a predecessor for what a horror movie podcast would be these days. So it's cool to think that people who are passionate about these movies, who talk about them and share their thoughts and opinions with others, can spur more interest in the movies themselves. It's cool. Warms my heart.
See, I think about these late night hosts, like you know, Elvira and stuff. What did we have like locally? Do we have anything like that?
Nah, I think it was more major city type deal. You're talking about like a local radio host or a local broadcast that did this kind of stuff?
Yeah, some that would introduce you to like lesser known films and shit.
I'll have to ask my brother, but I knew he was introduced to something localized that was like that setup, but I can't remember the name of it.
See, in my mind, I can see something like that, but it's like I'm looking through a pair of glasses covered in Vaseline and comb. I can't quite make out exactly what I'm seeing. You know,
I will bring those notes to the Elder Hootie so he can figure that out for you.
Yeah, see if he can wipe off some of the cum so I know what's going on.
Patron saint of the podcast, the Elder Hootie. But in my mind, I'm going to like Tales from the Crypt when I think about like that type of exposure. And what's the other thing? Dinner in a Movie. You remember that?
Oh, what
that
a
goofy ass TBS show where they would like play a movie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they would cook during the movie.
And make some pasta, make some spaghetti with Svengoolie.
I'm all right. I might be thinking about Mystery Science Theater.
You bring that up. Is it not wild? I don't know if you two did it or not, but I used to watch Tales from the Crypt before I went to school. Because it was like always on like 6 a.m. Yeah.
We didn't have HBO,
watch it with
man.
My cousins at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Like that was an HBO exclusive, right?
I think so.
Later on, I think it was.
My dad had to have HBO.
I'm over on basic cable. Mama's got me holding one antenna, Chris is holding the other antenna, and we're having to move it back and forth to get it just right to watch Price is Right.
Gotta walk like an Egyptian.
I was eating Spam watching HBO, okay? We have our vices.
Ryan, you get to choose one. You get to choose one. You can either have Spam and no HBO, or HBO and HBO and you're just going to eat Spam.
And real meat.
Dude's over here spreading Viennas on a goddamn saltine and shit, putting barbecue sauce on it, thinking he's fancy.
Put him in the vinegar. Remember that?
Oh, fuck. You're making my mouth water.
Yes.
So glad I get to watch HBO and eat this shit. All right, let's get into the writer and director of Fright Night. And that, in fact, is the same person, Tom Holland, who we have already covered for Child's Play, and he also was the director of Thinner.
Yeah, Tommy Holland, also the writer of Psycho 2, which kind of got him his start in the industry. Pretty interesting, considering some of the conversation to come. Child's Play daddy, though. Hard to shake that moniker for me. That's what I always remember this guy for.
This dude was a hotshot screenwriter. Do we know what happened with his career to where he's not really brought up when you talk about like the figureheads of horror. Like you talk about Wes Craven, you talk about John Carpenter. You don't really hear much about Tom Holland.
I mean, he might have hit his home runs and just bowed out. Like, how many times has he been paid for that Child's Play script at this point? So every time you write a script, it's based on his characters, you know?
If you look at his films, like Chris said, he was batting hot for one season, and then they kind of fall off.
He shares a name with someone who probably has outshined his star to this point.
That was a weird note I found on IMDb, that he is no relation to Spider-Man actor Tom Holland.
Tom Holland.
What the fuck is Tom Holland being in to be worth a damn, Chris? Spider-Man?
The Avengers
one
movies.
Trick pony.
He was in Uncharted.
I think all those Avengers movies
Jesus.
are like
There ain't no
the
fucking
top
sequel to that shit
5.
anymore.
He's been like the highest grossing franchise of all time. Pretty prominent player in it.
Timothy Chalamet would kick the shit out of Tom Holland.
Oh man, here we go. The fight for Zendaya's soul.
The battle of the little dudes.
But the real interesting thing about those two fellas, Zendaya's a better actor than both of them. So fuck it.
May
How
thy
about
blade
that?
chip and shatter.
Chris has really come a long way. Tell you what.
Zendaya, that's my girl. She's awesome.
Nice. This is Tom Holland's directorial debut. I didn't forget to say that. All right, so I purposely didn't try to find a whole lot of notes here. I left this for you two. The ones I did scrounge up, let's see. Because of the theatrical roots and the long hours spent in the makeup chair, Chris Sarandon helped apply his own vampire makeup and often worked on the finger extensions while the makeup artists were putting his face on.
That's a damn artist right there, man.
Yeah, Chris Sarandon, quite a man.
Joy's he can wipe his ass and text at the same time, but I can't see him doing his makeup while someone else is.
I don't even wipe my ass anymore. I just scoot it on the ground like I'm a fucking dog.
Just sit down and just start sliding. Saves on toilet paper.
Man, his house had to smell great. I saw this note. I have to bring this up here, and I'm sure you two have the same note, and I'm sorry if I'm taking it from you. I saw this note probably 10,000 times. Originally, they wanted Vincent Price to play the role of Peter Vincent. However, Price's health was declining at the time, and the amount of mobilization the role required made it impossible for Vincent Price to have the role. There you go.
Can you imagine Evil Ed throwing Vincent Price's old ass all around the fucking, all around Charlie's house?
Suplexing his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the note of the movie because going back to Tom Holland, he generally, he said specifically the idea for the whole fucking movie is, what if Vincent Price was somebody you could just get to help you kill a vampire? So this movie owes a lot to him and his persona.
I read it on IMDb, Wikipedia. I watched YouTube videos where they talked about it. It's like, I get it. I understand.
And the Peter Vincent character is named after horror icons Peter Cushing and Vincent Price smushed together. So that's like specifically where that name comes from.
The last note I have is actually a question for you two. The most financially successful horror film of 1985's summer season, and the second highest grossing horror film of 1985 behind what film that we've already covered on the show?
In the mid-'80s?
I said that 1985.
Friday the 13th.
Okay, that's your guess? No, not even.
No, that would have been Friday, like...
Whichever one existed. They came out every fucking year.
Whichever one was
Friday
there.
5, would it?
I don't fucking know with that series, man.
5 was a fucking bomb.
That's like the one series I can't... There's no timeline in my mind for those movies.
Mid-'80s, and we've seen it.
Yeah.
Is it an original or is it a sequel? At least give me like a hint.
This motherfucker getting hints.
Just give me
I
a
will
hint.
tell you, man. It's part of a franchise.
Nightmare 2.
Nightmare 2 is the film.
Freddy's
Gross, bro.
Revenge.
Good job, bud. Who's a big boy?
Nightmare 2, hey.
Who
It
wants
might
to
have
buy
made
the
that money, but it
sausage?
almost tanked the fucking franchise.
It was a
It made
good
a lot
movie,
of damn
man.
money.
Didn't
It
we
was a
all?
good
Didn't
movie.
we
I
all?
don't wanna hear it.
Weren't we all pleasantly surprised by Nightmare 2?
I think I went overboard on it, like way
Oh,
more
you
than
did.
Oh, you
everyone
was
else.
fucking. I think
was
the movie.
diamond
I think the
cutting.
movie actually changed you a little bit. Like the message.
Freddy was- Freddy was a demon in
The
that
message
fucking
struck
movie,
fucking
dude.
home with you, brother.
Demonic Freddy was badass.
Oh, Chris
You're
said,
all
I think
my
I
Yeah,
live
but
a
it
lie.
children.
took
now.
it took the lore pieces that the first one created and
I
just
don't
shit all
care
over them.
about. You telling me these movies that make 20 different entries, I'm going to care about the lore? No, just give me something cool to watch
As
for
a
an hour
true
and a half.
fan, you should care about the fucking
This
lore.
true fan shit out of here. I'm a fan of movies.
It did have some
was
of the
a
best,
fun movie.
like the most quotable shit. Like when he's at the pool and it's doing that
Yeah.
shot where upward and he's like, "You're all my children."
He had like the granny witch face
I like
going
that.
on, straight demon style. Yeah, man, I like that.
But yeah, I mean that's not that big of a surprise because as well as Nightmare 1 did, I mean you can only assume horror fans in the mid '80s were still fiending for more Freddy.
I had a few little notes on throw out here too. Fright Night, an arcade-style computer game, was released in 1988. In the game, you assumed the role of Jerry Dandridge as he attempts to turn his victims into vampires before sunrise.
That sounds awesome.
I know, pretty fucking
Yeah, that sounds fucking cool. What system was that on?
bold concept for the night. It said for Amiga computers. I'm not even sure what the hell that means.
Oh God.
I
My
don't know
time
what that
watching
was.
watching AVGN, the video game nerd on YouTube. I've seen a few. I've seen a few of those consoles. Or
Is that like the Jaguar?
Weird 88.
no.
throwback
These are like
consoles.
literally computers,
like full-on desktops that only
like
serve one
keyboards
purpose.
and everything. Dude, you ought to like take not really a deep dive, but you ought to watch a few episodes of some of his horror stuff because all the big horror franchises got games. Like there's a
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre game on, I think it was on the Atari, where you're playing as Leatherface and you're just going around hacking up teens and shit.
Different times, man. Fucking Pumpkinhead had a video game, remember? Just
Bloodwood.
wild. Imagine stop motion getting a game now. How bizarre that would be, you know?
Funny you
Different times,
say
man,
that. There's
different
actually
times.
a stop motion game that just came out.
Based on that movie?
Not based on the movie, but it's a stop motion video game.
Stop motion
It
horror
looks
video
so
game?
cool. It's not a horror game. It's just I think it's just like an adventure type game. Horror video games, they're a lot of the common ones nowadays not really based on horror franchises anymore because most of your IPs they have a market outside of video games. But we should all do like a video game like stream one
Horror
day.
Twitch channel
Like a
for
horror- like a horror
80s
game.
video games?
Oh yeah, I think that shit would be so fucking fun.
That's one
Hell
thing I
yeah.
haven't seen people do is play old horror video games.
Had one more note, wanted to highlight from, again, Mr. Tom Holland. When he was asked his thoughts about the 2015 remake, he said, "Kudos to them on every level for their professionalism, but they forgot the humor and the heart. They should have called it something other than Fright Night because it has no more than a passing resemblance to the original. What they did to Jerry and Peter Vincent was criminal." Smiling, he added, outside of that, it was wonderful.
Well, it was literally the Hollywoodization of the movie, or of the original.
Well, they scaried it up. That's kind of like Evil Dead, same thing. They took, they added that really dark 2010 era horror paint all over it, Took it really seriously.
Anton did his thing,
Rest in peace, Mr. Yelchin.
and Colin Farrell is he's a heartthrob as well.
He's about to cream in his jeans here.
What's he got to say about? Are you gonna say he's ugly or something? What the fuck is the
No. That's not what
Colin
I'm trying to say.
Farrell, I mean,
That's
I
what I'm
wouldn't
trying to
suck
say.
him off.
I really enjoy Colin Farrell. It's just watching this one and watching the remake. There is Chris Sarandon oozes charisma and just like pure man sexuality. That's weird to say, but like the dude just has it. And Colin Farrell just doesn't possess that level of what Chris Sarandon has.
All right, if you had
There's
to
a different-
eat Colin Farrell or Chris Sarandon's ass, which one would you choose?
I'm not answering that, Joe. I'm trying to give an honest review of these films.
Can I
okay?
choose? Can I choose?
trying to take it so
death?
seriously,
Can I choose to
Joy.
die?
Let's talk
Who's
about
giving you
something.
the 2015 fucking version of a review? You're giving the 1985
Here's the thing,
goofy ass version of a review.
I didn't even. I did. You're the one that right now has the freshest idea of that movie. So
Yeah, I haven't seen it since the theatrical run.
It's kind of ironic because watching the remake, and living in this era, I was born in 91, so I wasn't around for Fright Night 1. The remake is a product of its time because McLovin's in it. I don't know the fucking guy's name.
Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
A lot of weird play CGI. The Hugo song 99 Problems that was like a one-hit wonder, that's in the film.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
There's like all these like little nuances of like, oh, this is a timepiece. But then you think about it, and Fright Night 85 was a timepiece. The Jay Giles band appeared on the soundtrack and sang the song Fright Night, and Jay Giles had a window where they were the shit in the 80s.
Definitely before my exposure to the world, because I have no idea who that is.
They did Centerfold, My Angela in the Centerfold.
I do know that one. I know that track.
I think I described the remake back when we were talking about Fright Night the first time back in October with our 6-pack episode. I think I described it as fun. Just left it at that. What I can recall, yeah, it was fun, but to your point, it was kind of toothless, I guess is what you call it. Maybe not soulless, but it just doesn't have the charm, it doesn't have the, it definitely cannot, it won't stand the test of time like I feel like this movie does.
Yeah, for sure. It just, like you said, it was just lacking that. Whatever Fright Night 85 has, it just didn't have it.
I also wanted to point out the budget, before we forget about it, this was a $9.25 million movie, and it made, in its box office run, $24.9 million.
Pretty good for a directorial debut.
Which, of course, in the 80s, always leads to a sequel.
Which I did not watch because I read the reviews, and I just skipped that.
The original Fright Night has one of the most badass movie posters / VHS box art. I still remember seeing this like in Brewers, and every time I walked by it, it would like, man, I want to have this poster on my wall one day. But
can we just open Brewers back up with the amount of times that we bring it up on this show?
But I saw a few clips of Fright Night 2. I haven't personally seen it myself. Was it in 3D or something? Like some of the clips I'm seeing, they have like what seemed to be 3D effects. I might be totally off base.
Was it 87 or 88? Definitely like prime time for that.
It was like pretty soon after this movie came out. Supposedly, this is like the first vampire movie to ever spend $1 million on special effects.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of makes sense.
Pretty interesting tidbit. But outside of that, Charlie Sheen auditioned for the role of Charlie. Can you guys imagine Charlie Sheen, fresh off of Red fucking Dawn, in this fucking movie as hapless, pathetic, whiny Charlie?
Dude just took on the Iron Curtain.
Brewster. Nah, there's no way. Definitely.
You think he just took out the fucking Reds? You think he's gonna have a goddamn problem with a fucking vampire?
You're typecasting the man, Joy. You're doing this with retrospect. It's not fair.
Well, I feel like he wouldn't cast.
He's doing coke.
He wouldn't cast because of that. Like the actor who plays Charlie Brewster has like an everyman type look or every teen type look. He's not overly attractive. He doesn't seem overly charismatic. He just seems like a normal guy. And then Charlie Sheen back then, and I guess Charlie Sheen now, that's he's always had that tiger blood.
Always winning.
Brad Fiedel, the composer of the soundtrack. How'd you guys feel about the score?
I had a note that I am not the score person of this show, and even I enjoyed the score.
Dude, it was so 80s, right?
All
the fucking synthwave shit, dude. Oh, it's so good.
The club scene was fantastic.
There's one scene where Jerry steps like into the light in an alleyway, and there's like a fucking guitar riff.
It's so good, but yeah, Brad Fiedel. He started out his career as a keyboardist for the band Hall & Oates. But his claim to fame is Terminator and T2 Judgment Day. Though that's his babies, and those are some of the most recognizable scores ever. But yeah, I just want to give him one more shout out about this guy. He did the music back in the mid '70s, just after the movie came out. Jaws came out in 1975, right? He did the music for the porn parody Gums. In
Didn't know that existed.
1976.
Something just went to the top of the watch list.
Hey, you know me. And also the special effects and makeup department. I'm sure people saw this coming from a mile away, but when it comes to us talking about it, they fucking killed it. They didn't really want to name anybody in particular. Maybe Richard Edlin. He was like one of the special effects producers, but members of the crew, they're also credited for working on such works as Beetlejuice, The Thing, Legend, that movie with Tim Curry and Tom Cruise, Poltergeist, Army of Darkness, Jurassic Park. So yeah, this was a very talented group.
All right, without further ado, let's hop into Fright Night.
Oh, you're so cool, Brewster. I can't stand it.
The film opens to find Charlie Brewster watching Peter Vincent, a vampire killer's Fright Night theater, on an old boob tube while he makes out with his girlfriend, Amy. Charlie Brewster, played by William Ragsdale, who you may know from Justified as Gary, and a movie I hope to God we cover on this show, Frankenstein, The College Years. Look it up. It's a TV movie.
That, man?
I don't know. It looked fantastic.
I did write down 13 episodes just fine. Shout out Walton Goggins.
Let me tell you something. You just dropped the ball. You just said he was watching this on the boob tube, and then you didn't bring up the fact that he was fondling some boobs.
Trying to get them boobs. He couldn't get to the boobs.
That is a ball on a tee for you, Joy.
But yeah, outside of that, I got him down for Knock at the Cabin and Renfield. I could see the Renfield thing because it kind of doesn't really tie into Fright Night, but it's another vampire movie.
I feel like we brought up Renfield like 10 times.
I don't think any of us have seen it, have we?
I haven't, yeah. But everybody's in it, apparently.
It's like a feel-good vampire movie, apparently.
We also got to highlight his scene partner here, Amy, played by Amanda Bierst.
Oh, yeah.
Beers.
Who was in 260 episodes of Married with Children.
Is that all of them? Is that
I would
the full set?
assume, but I have no recollection of her character.
Yeah, she was on a 10-year run, man. She actually directed episodes of Married with Children as well.
She went all out. This is why she missed the sequel, right? Because she was on Married with Children.
Yeah. But she also directed episodes of Reba and Mad TV. Man,
oh, shit.
You remember watching Married with Children when we were younger?
Yeah. Al Bundy.
Yeah. She was Al Bundy's
watched
next door neighbor, Marcy. And you said you never watched Married with Children?
I have ever seen an episode.
Fuck,
Really?
for real?
Damn.
Yeah.
That was one of those that was like always on. The adults were watching it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I like Bud. He's funny.
Bud had that fucking... he had that mullet, man. That thing was legendary.
And Christina Applegate.
Oh, Kelly,
so
boy,
hot.
she was so fucking hot.
So hot, dude.
All right, so you got to pick who you're going to bone.
Peggy.
Boning
Give me Peggy,
you
baby.
going Peggy
It's
or Marcy,
Peggy.
Chris. You can't choose Kelly.
Give me Peggy.
I'm going to tell you, that voice.
Katie Seagal, right?
Yeah, it was Sons of Anarchy.
That was Ryan Perlman's old lady.
that was-
Sons of Anarchy.
What the hell?
Roddy.
No, what they call them? They got a certain name for bikers' wives.
Yeah. I thought it was old lady. It's not old
Is it
lady.
old lady?
Some shit like that.
Old
Some of the
bag
type of
or
shit
some
we
shit?
heard at
I don't
home
fucking
back
know.
in the day.
And finally, the big guy, Peter Vincent, played by Roddy McDowell, who was in a legendary piece of cinema, Cleopatra. And also
Too much shit.
another piece of cinematic history, A Bug's Life.
Dude had 269 credits. I was not flipping through that shit.
He ain't
Dude,
got nothing on.
How
Trio.
bad did A Bug's Life shit on Ant World or whatever the fuck it's called?
Ants, right?
Man, talk
Boy,
about
it
it.
shit so
Yeah.
bad on fucking Ants, man.
Stallone was in one of them, right?
Stallone was in Ants. And Schwarzenegger, I think they both were in there.
But yeah, I thought the note I had on Roddy was he was known for playing Cornelius and Caesar in the original Planet of the Apes film series.
Yeah, he was in like 4 out of the 5 or something like that. He was a big time part of this.
He went apes. He went ape shit for those movies, huh?
That's pretty good.
Thank you. I wrote that one.
I had a cool little note here. He was considered for the role of Pennywise in the television series It from 1990, losing out to what I think is collectively one of Horrible Film School's favorite actors, Tim Curry.
Yeah,
Timmy, put him on the Mount Rushmore.
But we haven't talked about Chris Sarandon yet, so I'm going to save this next.
We hadn't seen him yet, have we?
You haven't seen him yet.
Yeah. I'm talking to myself.
Look, he's so excited.
Tim Curry's side note, I watched Clue for the first time like 5 days ago. He's very prominent in that movie.
He's the
great.
butler, right?
Yeah, he's essentially he carries the whole show.
Before Charlie takes sweet Amy to bed, he gets an eyeful of his new neighbor carrying a casket into his basement. The next day, we are introduced to Charlie's best friend, Evil Ed, and Charlie gets to see a gorgeous woman walking into his neighbor's house, whom he later hears scream into the night. Here we've met Evil Ed, played by Stephen Jeffries.
Jeffries.
We'll go
I think
Jeffries,
it's just
yeah.
Jeffries.
It looks like an exotic. It looks like an exotic last name. I think it's one of those.
It does.
It's like it's supposed to trick you in terms of how exotic.
Geoff.
Well, let me just say 2 credits, and then Joey can have his way with this man.
Well, hey, you know what?
Can I name
He
some
was
credits too?
I'm not going to go in as hard. I'm not going to go in as hard as you
As
you're
Steven,
making it out to
yeah.
be.
He was in Leather Buddies.
Whoa,
and
hold on now. What?
The Butt Blazer.
What the fuck is that? Are those feature films?
Feature films.
Because I was looking through this dude's filmography without any context.
He's in a lot of stuff.
And I saw these movies, and I was like, oh, he's in a lot of like parodies or something. I kept reading them. The Cockpit. Hole in the Wall. Then I finally got to Butt Machine Boys, and I stopped. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I had to find out more about the man.
All right, look. Before you guys tear this guy down, let's start.
I'm not
off
tearing
with,
him down. There's no judgment at
start
all. It
off
was
with
just, it was jarring in the filmography list.
His character of Evil Ed in this movie. Here we have what a lot of people argue, fans of the movie anyway, may be their favorite character in the movie, and personally is definitely one of my top 3 favorite characters in the movie. Evil Ed, man, this guy has the manic energy, doesn't he?
This dude's crazy, man.
Dude, he is just wound up and just fucking, he is firing off on all cylinders in every scene.
Yeah, this dude seems like he's on drugs the entirety of this movie.
Yeah, he's cooking high. I think he might actually be high.
But yeah, as the boys have been alluding to, he wound up in an ass ton of gay pornography. Hardcore pornography from the early 90s to early 2000s with gripping and passionate performances in movies such as Latin Crotch Rockets, Just 18 and Gay, Private
That's the title,
Temptations,
okay.
and Transsexual Prostitutes 2,
That one had the synopsis in the title.
A sequel.
under the names Sam Ritter and Stephen Bourdois, or Bordeaux.
Bordeaux.
Bourdois.
Did he
I like
win?
Bourdois.
Did he win an AVN award?
He won.
That's like the-
he won Titus Butthole 2 years running. Didn't win it the 3rd year because they stretched it out. Here's the thing too. We just read all that information, right? This man was 5'5".
As a grown man?
He's getting tossed around by all these motherfuckers like a fucking toy.
He enjoyed what he was doing. It was not like he was doing it against his will, so good for him. He made
But,
some money.
I mean,
Yeah, he's
he got
back to
paid.
making like movies now. So hey,
Yeah, that's what was so jarring about the filmography, because I saw, when you go to IMDb, you get the recent titles first, and those were like semi-normal, and I was like, okay, when did he do Fright Night? Okay. What did he do in between? I was like, what the fuck is going on with these movies?
hey,
I thought they were like sci-fi parodies or something.
no hate here.
Butt
man.
Machine Boys, that's
get
what did
your,
it.
Get the bag, Queen.
I had a side note on the hooker. That's what she's called in the film. I didn't want to call her that, but it is what it is. She's played by Heidi Sorensen, and she was actually a Playboy Playmate of the Month in July of 1981.
Hell yeah, man.
Good for her.
I love how the
She was pretty.
I love how the is it a reporter? Who's the motherfucking newscaster? I love how the newscaster describes like the body they find.
He's
Like, the
brutal.
next day. He literally just says a man or a woman was found murdered behind the rail yards. It's like, it's so fucking vague. What, the fucking rail yards? What is this shit?
She looks to be a prostitute. And we're moving on to the weather.
I also had a question. Why was Charlie using binoculars? These people were 10 feet away from him, like right outside of his damn window.
Well, no. Here's the thing. He wasn't like
That's a great
he didn't
point.
have his face pressed against his fucking window. He's literally tucked back in. This dude's a professional.
They're
people
10
Tom.
feet away,
He knows how to
Joey.
do it just right. He's literally about 10 feet back from the window. That way he can conceal himself in darkness, and he's watching them with the binos.
His house is so close to the other house, though, that he can never see anything beyond that house. Why does he need binoculars?
I think it's a direct homage to Rear Window. It has to be.
Once Joey dropped that note, I feel like it's plugged in for that reason.
Well, speaking of that, strapped with a pair of binoculars, Charlie begins to perform a stakeout on his new neighbor's house. He gets to see another young woman take her top off as the new owner, Jerry,
goodness
shows
fucking
him
gracious.
his
Boobies.
fangs and long fingernails. And we get probably about 25 frames of a woman's tits in this shot.
I'm gonna tell you what. I tried desperately to find more pictures of this woman's tits. This woman was hot. However,
There's a lot of
she
her
ain't
top
been but
being
in
on.
like 3 fucking movies.
Well, I mean, she had no dialogue, so.
We lucked out pretty good, getting to see what we got to see. This he's making his way through them, huh? He's he's going through them pretty fucking quick.
And with this is the point where I found that we should probably bring up the vampire, the Big Daddy, Jerry Dandridge. Jerry, played by Chris Sarandon, who was in The Nightmare Before Christmas and Bordello of Blood.
We didn't really talk about it, but he was actually married to Susan Sarandon for like 10 years.
And she kept his name.
she kept his name.
Must have been some
He
good
makes-
seed.
She
He makes jokes about he gets no royalties from that name.
But she has what I like to call, and I've probably discussed before, Sigourney Weaver syndrome.
That hot or not look.
The hot or not look, man. I'm gonna name off a
Very
few names
divisive.
here. We got Hilary Swank, Lady Gaga, Mia Goff,
That's an easy one, though.
and Anya Taylor-Joy. What do you guys think about those? Those
That's an
women's?
obvious one, too.
Really?
Those last two are
She
slam
looks like a
dunks, I
fucking
think.
alien. However, she is hot.
Taylor-Joy.
That's an
Is that
alien.
Furiosa?
That's an alien. I would let probe me.
What is it, an AILF instead of a MILF? She's an ALF.
What the fuck? That motherfucker.
Y'all
eats
getting
cats.
too deep for me.
Alien I'd like to friend on Facebook.
So, Mr. Sarandon, I had a cool note about this man. He is originally from the same state as Mr. Brad Dorff. And that would
He's
be
a West
Beckley,
Virginia.
West Virginia.
Hell yeah.
Not only is he from West Virginia, he graduated magna cum laude from West Virginia University. This man is a proud West Virginian.
Go Nears.
Definitely, he doesn't have the, I could see Brad Dorff coming from there. Sarandon, not so much.
He's a good-looking dude. I can just say it.
Yeah, he's a good looking man. He was the 1976 nominee for Best Supporting Actor in a movie called Dog Day Afternoon, where he played
Leon.
Leon, Al Pacino's boyfriend. Great fucking movie.
Spoiler
Also,
alert.
Princess Bride, 1987. He played Prince Humperdinck, and he was in Child's Play from '88. I know we've kind of pointed that out before, but there you go. Very accomplished man, especially in the late '80s.
But now I get to drop a cool piece of trivia on you guys. Really awesome bit of trivia here pulled from IMDb. This dude has appeared in 3 different movies across 3 different decades that have been selected for the National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Those being 1975's Dog Day Afternoon, 1987's The Princess Bride, and 1993's The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Damn, I might have been able to guess that.
I would have thought Fright Night instead of Princess, but okay.
Which allows me to cycle back to a little piece of trivia I was going to allude to earlier about Roddy Dow. Roddy Dow kind of has the same sort of thing going on with 3 films selected by the Library of Congress for the National Film Registry. How Green Was My Valley from 1941. Lassie
How Green
Comes.
Was It?
Say what?
Super green.
Super
How green was it?
Oh, bro, it was
Olive green.
They call it verdant. Verdant green.
Verde.
Lassie Come Home, 1943, and Planet of the Apes from 1968. That's really fucking cool.
Is Lassie Come Home a sequel?
Shit, I hope it's
I
not
didn't
the
know it was
original.
a fucking original.
Okay, I didn't know the original would
Ain't
just
that
called
the
Lassie.
motherfucker they shot when he got the rabies?
No, that's Old Yeller. That's Old Yeller.
Oh, man.
I thought that was where the red fern grows.
So many dog films.
Old Yeller, that's the son bitch you had to put down. Everybody cried in
That's
music
some
class. in
bitch you
third
had to
grade.
put down.
Talking about, I will remember you.
That's a Gary Allen song. He didn't cry. No, sir.
How did he cry when Old Yeller died? That's right.
Charlie's mother does not believe the fact that the neighbor is a vampire, and neither does his girlfriend Amy. Charlie decides to involve a lieutenant named Lennox to make a house call. Lieutenant Lennox is played by Art Evans, who you may know from Die Hard 2, and one of my favorite low-budget horror films, Tales from the Hood.
From the hood, baby.
To this day, the scene with David Allen Greer when he's like crinkling the paper, it's such a good scene.
That movie scared me. I remember watching it on VHS as a kid.
I like that part where the guy says, I didn't just pull it out for air.
That would be Requiem for a Dream from
I don't
1999.
think
But
that was
okay.
how-
Oh,
good.
fuck me.
You're talking about Keith David.
He is in the sequel, though.
I know
Keith
it's
David.
pretty, but I didn't bring it out for air.
Art Evans was also in Revenge of the Nerds, man. You guys remember that movie?
Hell yeah, I remember Revenge of the
He's in
Nerds.
a lot of
Love
stuff.
that shit, dude.
Who the hell was he in that movie?
I think he was part of the fraternity. Like
Was he a jock?
Yeah, one of the fraternity. No, not the jocks, but there was.
He wasn't
part-
Lamar. He definitely wasn't Lamar.
But they teamed up with one of the fraternities, like one of the black fraternities. You don't remember that?
I don't remember that part.
When they teamed up with them and they were doing like a party or some shit, and then the alphas, that's the jocks. They were
With
like
the Omega
keeping
Moo Pies.
Yeah, they were keeping them from being harassed, or they were keeping the
Keeping moon
alphas
pies.
from harassing.
You remember Booger?
Oh, I remember Booger.
Folks call me Booger.
That dude's like really big into voice acting now. Like he does a lot of voice work on video games and anime.
He's got that Bobcat and Goldthwait style.
We'll just save this for apparently a sideshow.
Revenge
on
of the Nerds.
Revenge of the
It's
Nerds.
Anthony Edwards in any horror movie.
It's Goose, motherfucker.
Then we can talk about him.
Charlie and Lennox go to the house, but the roommate, Cole, answers the door instead of Jerry. Cole tells them that the kid is crazy. No woman was there last night. Lennox tells Charlie he is full of shit and speeds off. I have a question, fellas. Is Cole Jerry's familiar?
That's how I referred to him throughout my notes because I kept forgetting his name. The Familiar.
As well.
Thank you, What We Do in the Shadows, for teaching me this terminology. I assume that's what he is, but we never get like any clear answers, honestly.
It gets confusing at the end. I'll tell you that
Very
much.
much so. I got a lot of question marks in the last 2 or 3 notes I got.
Yeah, I think he's like his ghoul manservant. He's described by Charlie's mom as being a live-in carpenter, and we do see him doing quite a bit of
That's normal. That's
window
normal.
painting and.
I got to get one of those, man.
Charlie drives over to Evil. I just got an idea that the next time you two visit my house is some random dude shirtless working on like my carpet. He just lives there. That's just Ted.
That's my live-in carpenter.
He's been whacking the carpet with a hammer, like not even hitting a
Sweating
nail
his
for
ass
hours.
off.
He's literally hitting the carpet with a fucking hammer. Like, what the fuck is
He's covered in sawdust.
Charlie drives over to Ed's house for help on handling vampires. Ed tells him to use a gold crucifix, a rope of garlic around the neck, holy water blessed by a priest, and never, ever give them a blessing to enter your house. And of course, turns out their mother has already invited the bloodsucker into his house. Jerry comes to pay a visit later that night. He sends Charlie through his closet doors and then holds him up by the neck as he describes all the trouble he has been causing him with his little antics. Charlie decides to shove a pencil through his hand, and the beast reveals his true form. Mother wakes up, and the bloodsucker flies away.
Charlie decides to fucking shove a pencil through his hand? Was he fucking sitting there thinking about it?
I'm going to decide and just fucking
Oh
stab it.
shit, he's gonna fucking kill me.
Did you see the pencil cup? Did you see the Iowa Hawkeyes pencil cup?
Oh shit! It was the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, I thought that was.
I guess the film takes place in Iowa then, huh?
But yeah, you have the classic like mom. Like I guess she's a single mom. I don't think we ever hear about dad in this whole movie. But kind of insinuating she's willing to suck off the neighbor.
Just opposite of Pumpkinhead.
Well,
That's their
at
husbands
this point, we haven't really went over it, but the whole mythos of vampires being very seductive, being very magnetizing, that is what Jerry Dandridge exudes. And
He could take me.
he literally
Sex appeal, baby.
so fucking smooth, so like charismatic.
Okay, you have to be swept off in the arms of one vampire. This guy or David from Lost Boys? Kiefer Sutherland, who's it going to be?
Oh, I'm Sarandon all day.
Chris Sarandon know how to fuck. He's been fucking for years.
How about this? And now we're right back to the butt blazer.
Kiefer Sutherland, you would ride bitch on his motorcycle and you would have the time of your life. Don't play games with me, Joy. Your eyes are lying.
I feel like Kiefer Sutherland would like love him and leave him.
I think it's a good point. I feel like Colin Farrell in the remake plays the character more like Kiefer Sutherland.
That's sexy, man. The one who's like willing to throw you away.
I like to be wined down in '69.
How about that?
I want to ride your motorcycle, watch a movie, eat each other's buttholes.
We're going to ride motorcycles. We're going to watch Shaw Strength. And we're going to eat some greasy ass food.
Man, he's totally going
Salisbury steaks.
He's totally going to bareback Charlie's mom.
Yeah. He's like, I love how he's coming downstairs like, oh, I'm figuring my shit out. I got my room all prepped up or whatever. And then mom's invited the dude home. She's going to suck him off right here on the couch.
So I've talked about like how much I like this movie, and I don't have very many nitpicks at all. However, Hoodie described one of my biggest nitpicks with the movie. We have Charlie, who is stated early in the movie to be a big fan of Peter Vincent, right? Literally, he's like about to suck on his girlfriend's titties, and she interrupts him and says, "Hey, Peter Vincent on the TV. You love Peter Vincent.
Your favorite boy's on."
So he finally encounters a vampire after what I would probably say is, months or years or whatever of watching this vampire hunter on TV religiously, if he loves the character. Why does he have to go to Ed in order to get tips on how to deal with a vampire?
I don't think he's like into the occult so much. He's just into movies. I don't think he's like as obsessively like he believes the shit like Evil Ed seems to believe,
Yeah, but Ed tells him exactly what the fucking movies would have told him.
Yeah, so he's in a state of panic. It's like the bad kid at school. Like, oh yeah, I know how to do this. He's actually done these kinds of things before because who else is he going to talk to? He doesn't even have a dad in this situation.
Charlie pays a visit to Peter Vincent, the vampire killer, who just lost his show due to poor ratings. He tells Mr. Vincent all about his vampire neighbor. Mr. Vincent, in proper fashion, hops in his car and drives away quickly. Amy and Evil Ed show up to Mr. Vincent's house to try their hand at convincing the vampire hunter that the vampire, Jerry, is real. Amy tells Mr. Vincent that she has a $500 savings bond, and that will be just enough to cover this assignment.
I've actually got a deal to appear in a major motion picture. She's like, I got $500. I'll take it.
The following day, Mr. Vincent shows up to take a look at Jerry's house with the entire crew in tow. Jerry actually comes downstairs this time and meets everyone, to which he very much adores young, sweet Amy. Mr. Vincent asks Jerry to take a shot of holy water in front of everyone, and he obliges. Nothing happens, and the crew leaves. However, Vincent uses his pocket mirror, which everyone has, and realizes that Jerry has no reflection. Vincent drives away once again, but this time in a rage of fear.
Yeah, I don't know how they rationalize him whipping out that mirror in that moment. At first, I thought it was like he's intentionally like doing one more test, but the way he plays it up is it's all like purely accidental.
And it wasn't even like usually those kind of contraptions in this time period hold cigarettes. And it didn't even hold cigarettes.
My interpretation of why that happened, I mean, the guy's an actor. He's been acting for years, and he's kind of, some actors can come off as conceited.
It's a vanity thing.
Maybe he was just checking to see, you know, how his foundation or you know, his makeup was holding up, and he just happened to use it at the most opportune time. This whole sequence was explained off as it being a keepsake from one of his previous movies.
The holy water scene was very confusing, and I felt like for some reason the fire took away its properties.
Yeah, I thought Jerry was heating it up or something.
No, they explain it earlier in the movie that the only way Jerry was even going to... Because they called Jerry ahead of time and set up this whole meeting. And the only way he was going to do it is if it was just tap water.
So you're saying that Peter knew it was a ruse?
Oh, yeah. Everybody's thinking at this point it's psychological. Like, he's just... Like, Charlie has seen one too many horror movies.
One too many.
Yeah. And he's just...
So they're just trying to, like, placate his psychosis.
Yeah, they're just trying to get him to see, hey, this dude drunk the holy, quote-unquote, holy water, and it didn't do anything to him.
So a bit earlier, after we had, like, the pencil through the hand attack, did you guys catch the scene where, what's the character's name? The familiar is, like, cleaning his hand.
Billy.
And we see him through the window. So
Yeah.
the scene had already happened at this point, right?
Yeah.
Had this note here that's pretty interesting about it. So the two actors in that scene had not, I guess, picked up on the director Holland's intended subtext when they were developing their characters. For the scene, when Jerry pulls down the window shade, Billy is actually about to perform oral sex on him. Stark remembers being told by Tom Holland, "I'm cleaning his hand," and Tom says, "No, get down on your knees."
Get down on your knees and tell me you love me.
So that was why he's pulling the shade down. You know, when we're watching through the window, he's cleaning his hand.
There's a lot of subtext saying these two are in a homosexual relationship, okay?
Yeah.
I didn't ever pick up on that. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't either. Apparently, neither did either of the actors when they had read the script and were developing their characters. So they had to be like told, like, no, make this more of a homosexual setup. So I guess the idea is like Jerry is, like you were talking about, he personifies sex and passion, and if you're a vampire, I guess sexuality is kind of fluid, right?
Oh,
Just
yeah.
fucking anything.
Here's the thing. Like,
And this guy's in love with Jerry.
put yourself in Jerry's shoes, right? You've been a vampire for probably hundreds of years.
Oh, it's the Mick Jagger argument, man.
If you're not going to be bisexual, you're kind of cutting yourself off from 50% of the population. You're living eternally. You want to experience all the fruits life has to
All
offer.
of it, baby.
As an undead, I mean, you can kind of just get a taste of everything, you know?
There's no repercussions for any of this. It's all just pleasure for him.
Oh, no. There's no, like, all right, you want to drink a guy's blood. I mean, you don't want to have to attack him because you're going to make a scene. You want to seduce him, right? You want to fucking show him a little bit of, you want to show him a little, you want to show him that V some guys get right above their cock.
I can be your hero.
You tuck it in and you do the Buffalo Bill. I'd fuck me.
Yeah, I didn't see Jerry doing
I'd
that.
fuck me.
Put the lotion in the fucking
hard.
basket.
Evil Ed makes his way home down a dark alley, alone. Jerry shows up in a badass trench coat and asks Ed to take his hand, and he turns the boy into a vamp. Meanwhile, Charlie and Amy are making their way
You
home.
want to talk
as well.
about subtext?
Here we go.
You glossing over that scene a little bit. I think
Okay.
they indirectly say or kind of hint that Ed's gay.
Pitched as an outcast. Like, you're like, oh, everybody beats up on you and hates you, and you suck.
Tom Holland's a fortune teller, apparently.
Like Sarandon or Jerry in this case, he doesn't exactly, fall upon Ed and just like bite him. He literally coaxes him into accepting the gift that he's willing to offer. He says something along the lines of, he knows what it's like to be different, and that he's getting his ass kicked and all this other shit. So he kind of entices Ed into accepting, but becoming a vampire and the pros that come with that. I mean, who fuck cares about sunlight? Sunlight's overrated.
I love sunlight.
But eternal life, man.
Meanwhile, Charlie and Amy are making their way home as well and see Jerry following them at every turn. The two duck into a college nightclub. Evil Ed pays Mr. Vincent a visit, and the old man is able to shove a crucifix into his forehead. Ed jumps through the window to go tell his master. I did have a note here. I know you brought up the prosthetics earlier, Joy, and for the most part, they look fantastic. This scene, Evil Ed's teeth look pretty rough to me.
No, that shit looks so fucking good, man.
You talking about all the spaced out, like how they go
Spaced out, and they change forms throughout the scene.
Yeah, I think he's still like figuring out his vampiric form because we saw Jerry earlier transform in Charlie's room, but he has like different stages of his vampire
it's stages
look.
of transformation. I think it's great, personally.
It's definitely unique compared to like, I don't know, somebody just shoots their fangs out and they're full vampire, you know?
That's
They definitely have like the bat-like appearance. I thought it was pretty cool. I really like the cross burn makeup.
was
I thought
awesome.
that looked fucking great.
And how it gradually heals.
Yeah.
Like later on in the movie. I think that's really fucking well done.
Yeah, it's like one of my favorite bits of action was that him burning his forehead.
Now for one of the sexiest scenes in the films. Meanwhile, Jerry has locked eyes with Amy in the club, and the two decide to dance together in the middle of the dance floor in a style similarly to Dirty Dancing. These two are going at it.
Yeah, there's some half-ass dick thumping going on here.
I'm gonna tell you what, man. Amy's fucking panties are a water slide in this scene. Guaranteed.
I had to know, isn't this a high school kid?
The actress during this scene is like 27, but I think
I'm
they're
sure
like
she is.
seniors in high school or some shit.
We'll call him 18.
Okay.
I assume when you have this
I mean,
kind
he's a
of
vampire.
movie,
Who cares?
in these kind of movies, the actors or the characters are always like considered of legal age, because if you're going to sexualize them, it is Hollywood, so
Always.
they wild in Hollywood.
It's a fine line. It's like the TV show Euphoria. Like everyone in there is supposedly in high school, and all they're doing is fucking and doing drugs. But in my mind, it's like we're just calling it high school, so it makes it more like universally relatable because not everyone goes and has like the college experience. But in my mind, that's kind of how it works.
Charlie grabs Amy, and the two make a run for it, while Jerry mows through two bouncers like butter. Jerry is able to snatch Amy and take him back to his lair. Charlie goes to Mr. Vincent's house for help, and to convince the old man to be the vampire hunter that he has portrayed on TV for so many years. Amy wakes up by Jerry's fireplace in a Marilyn Monroe dress, and the vamp bites into her shoulder after taking her top off. And another
Sexy time.
sweaty scene.
More unexpected nudity, man.
The character arc we see of Peter Vincent going from, you see him on television during the movie as this vampire hunter, this guy who has confidence, and then you see him in person. He just lost his job, and he's dejected, and then he finds out that vampires actually fucking exist, and he becomes, frightened. He's a coward, and then slowly he's built back up by Charlie and his interactions with Evil Ed. I really enjoyed his arc for sure.
Another product of the time, David Tennant plays this role in the remake. Charlie and Mr. Vincent arrive at the Bloodsucker's house, with Vincent carrying a large toolkit of weapons to use in battle. Mr. Vincent asks Charlie to come back down when the beast is sleeping. Jerry shows up just in time to tell the two, welcome to Fright Night. For real.
For reals.
Something else I found out was pretty cool. I don't know if you noticed Jerry eating a lot of apples in this movie. Apparently that was one of Sarandon's ideas. He did some bat research and found out that most of them are frugivores. So he, I guess according to him building his character, Jerry had a lot of fruit bat in his DNA. So that's why he's eating so many apples to cleanse his palate after draining blood from his victims.
That guano is pretty pricey stuff.
Bat droppings.
I wonder if, his poop is rather pricey.
Chicago.
Guano balls. Collect the whole set.
This motherfucker's eating it. God damn, y'all talking about Ace Ventura.
He's licking the bat shit bowls. Yeah. When nature calls.
What does that fucking dude say, man? Iquinsu ocha.
Iquinsu ocha. White devil, white devil.
You speak Swahili?
All right. It's such a good movie.
Bumblebee tuna. That's what he says when he first comes in.
Kind of hot.
He's crawling out of that fucking rhino's ass, man. We gotta branch out.
We used to laugh our ass off.
Man,
watching that.
we gotta branch out.
I always love that. I do it in my corporate meetings. Please,
You climb,
don't get up.
You climb out of a fucking rhino's ass.
Yeah, I climb out of Rhino's ass.
Every team's meeting, my background's a rhino, and I slowly climb out of its asshole. Well, welcome to work.
Mr. Vincent runs next door to check on Miss Brewster. However, it is just Evil Ed laying in bed to greet Vincent once again. A wolf
Laughing
attacks
his
Vincent,
ass off.
cackling.
Dude,
Wow.
he fucking kills it in this scene, man. So good.
A wolf attacks Vincent, to which he sends a stake through its heart, and then through a chandelier. Turns out the wolf was Evil Ed all along, and we get a pretty decent death transformation scene here.
Yeah, the untransforming, I guess you would call it, is awesome. My only question is, where was that dick at? Where was his dick at? Where that dick at?
Where your dick at? Between your fucking
Where-
legs.
Where that dick though?
I don't want to, spoil it, but there's some other films that I think you might be able to.
Well, I guess you're right. If I wanted to see Mr.
Figure-
Jeffrey's dick, there's
figure that out.
documentaries about it.
They filmed this transformation very tastefully and kept his cock out of it. They knew that right there.
It was good.
Was, his
It was very good,
moneymaker. But yeah, this was really like watching him slowly die, quote unquote die, and him reaching out for Peter Vincent. Did you guys feel any sort of sympathy at all?
I did
for
a
Evil
little.
Ed?
I didn't expect to, but it was like kind of brutal to sit with it for so long. I thought it'd be like a 30-second thing, but it was like 5 minutes of him just writhing.
What'd you guys think of his delivery when he popped out of the bed and he was talking about the note that his mom left for Charlie's mom
Leftovers
left
in
for
the oven. His dinner's in the oven.
His dinner's in the oven. And he's like, he's got this manic energy the whole fucking time. While
And he's wearing like a Raggedy Ann wig at the same time.
He's so unhinged. Oh, it's great, man.
Back at Jerry's lair, Charlie is thrown in a room with Amy, who is, of course, now a vampire, while Vincent makes his way back to the lair with tools in tow. Vincent shoots the familiar over and over, but the beast doesn't go down until Charlie sends a stake through his heart, and he starts bleeding green ooze? Question mark?
What was that? What the hell was Billy?
Billy was like a
Was he a zombie?
demi-human ghoul, like protector. I mean, you guys describe him as a familiar. I think that's exactly what he was.
Usually that's like your human counterpart who can like go grocery shopping and
Well,
shit
no,
for
it's
you,
literally
right?
like there to protect you during like daylight hours. Like you're accomplished.
Add a note here. The creator of what's very topical at the moment, the creator of Nickelodeon's famous slime, Brian Taylor, claimed to have been inspired by the green ooze in Fright Night.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, green goo. This
Guts.
motherfucker been vacationing in Neil Bog.
Do you have it? Guts.
That's goblin
Remember
spelled
that shit?
backwards.
Oh, Neil Bog, baby.
Physical challenge.
Double Dare, wasn't that the other one? Didn't they slime your ass in that too?
So good.
Dude,
That was
Mark
fantastic.
Summers was walking around with a slime cannon constantly.
He's like rolling his shoulders and dancing and shit. Do you have it?
No, that's not Mark Summers.
Guts.
That's fuck, I can't think of his fucking name.
Mike something?
Mike
O'Malley.
Mike O'Malley.
Mike O'Malley.
He was in
Yep.
the show
It's
called
he said
Yes,
it.
Dear.
This Hootie said it way too fast, knowing he's got a piece of the aggro crag in his fucking office or some shit.
Hootie's got Yes Dear on DVD right behind him right now, I guarantee it.
I wish I had. They don't have a DVD.
So you got Guts.
Crimes of the 21st
You got
century.
Guts. You got the Hidden Temple one. You guys remember the Hidden Temple?
Yeah, that was a good one.
And the one
Legendary.
with Mark Summers.
I
where
think they resurrected that
You had
one.
like a family. It was like a family thing where two families compete against each other. What would have been the coolest one to go on?
Guts.
Yeah, it had like all the wires and shit. You'd be doing flips and stuff.
Oh man, I wanted to go on the one with Mark Summers, man.
Nah, put me on American Gladiators. That's like a 10-year-old.
You would have got fucking bodied. You would have been on that shit where you're getting hit with the goddamn pole, and they would have beat your little ass into next week.
You know, that would be must-see viewing, though.
Michael O'Malley got his own show called The Michael O'Malley Show. It lasted 1 season, but the man got his own show.
And you watched
Wasn't that on like Spike or FX or some shit?
I don't know, but it wasn't good. I did watch it.
Mike O'Malley walked so Joe Rogan could run.
There you go.
I could see it. I don't know why, but I could see it.
Jerry breaks through a pane glass window over the staircase, like a badass, in front of Vincent, who now produces a cross with full faith. Jerry turns into a bat just as the sun touches his shoulder and attacks Vincent. Jerry bites Charlie on the wrist, and Jerry flies away to the basement. The two chase after him. In the basement, Amy appears with a flowing set of new locks to show Charlie her transformation into a vamp with what looks to be 1,000 teeth.
I'm going to tell you what, the teeth ain't the only thing she grew. Some say her tits grew 3 sizes that day, like the fucking Grinch.
Just like the Grinch. She saved Christmas in that moment.
How about that? Vincent sends a stake through the heart of Jerry, while Charlie breaks basement windows to let the sunshine come on in. Charlie opens one last window right in front of Jerry, and the bloodsucker bursts into a ball of flames. Everything comes full circle with Charlie and Amy making out on his bed as the pair watch Peter Vincent's Fright Night on the boob tube. Life is back to normal.
Yeah, talking about Amy's makeup, I thought she was the best looking part of the whole movie.
Oh, the she
was scary, dude.
Shark-jawed Amy vampire is so fucking cool, man. It's the image that pops in my head anytime somebody mentions this movie. I mean, it's literally on the poster.
It pops up. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like the end of Sleepaway Camp, like that kind of imagery that just stuck with me. Like not like Sleepaway Camp, but in that same vein.
I'm talking about where the dick at, where the cock at. There's where the fucking cock's at, brother.
Cock on swole in that one, if you will.
You got the hairy little bush on top of it.
But yeah, she was the highlight for me. Her full transformation looked great.
For me, the highlight was the fact she kept her tits. Like after she was transformed back.
I was too afraid to stare at the woman's breasts, Joy.
But yeah, the movie ends as Hootie said, except for one little tidbit. Evil Ed just so happens to be still alive.
Chilling next door, baby.
I didn't include it.
What, you didn't include what actually happened in the fucking movie?
You're so funny, Brewster.
It just came off as like, I don't know, thrown in.
It's setting up a sequel.
He's not in the sequel.
The original sequel, he was supposed to be in it.
Well, supposed to be. And doing butt blades are two different things.
He was busy in Transsexual Prostitutes 4.
He was actually signed on to do Robert Englund's directorial debut, which is why he wasn't available for Fright Night Part 2.
What was
he
that?
He chose Freddy.
Nightmare on Cock Street.
Something, In Hell, Go to Hell, something. I can't remember the title.
Oh, it's not even a Freddy film.
But it was directed by Robert Englund. It was his first thing he directed. So he chose that over doing the sequel. But originally, the featured ending had Peter Vincent transforming into a vampire as he returned to host Fright Night.
Which would have been fucking stupid. So it's really good they didn't do that.
You take that, or you get Evil Ed laughing in the fucking dark.
I guess that's those two options.
Well, here's the thing. If we know anything about the mythos of vampires, once you plant that stake in the chest, what happens to a vampire?
It's a wrap.
What happens to a vampire?
It's a wrap, dog. It's over.
When you say
They
it's
melt.
a wrap, what happens? They melt, right? They burst.
Yeah.
They turn into fucking goo. Guess who didn't turn into goo? Evil fucking Ed.
The Wolfman.
What does that tell you? It tells you that Peter Vincent is as inept as ever, and he missed Ed's heart. The same way he missed Jerry's heart when he was in the coffin.
He's a shoulder stabber, man. Nothing wrong with that.
It's okay. Not vital.
We've all been there. We've all, went to a man's basement, found an undead vampire just hanging out in the casket and stabbed him through his shoulder.
It's just Tuesday night, man.
But the original sequel idea they wanted to pursue was, years later with Tom Holland directing again. They wanted...
the actor or the director?
The director.
He brought back Tom Holland Spider-Man as director.
Dressed as fucking Spider-Man trying to tell somebody what to do. What was the movie he was in on Netflix with where they were in like a redneck with Andrew Garfield?
Oh, it wasn't Andrew Garfield. It was with Robert Pattinson. Damn, if you didn't ask me, I could have told
that was
you.
okay. That was a really good fucking movie.
Yeah, it was like a southern
Super
gothic,
fucked up.
fucked up drama. Yeah.
Yeah, but the original idea was years later, living in the same house. Amy and Charlie were going to be having kids, and the kids were going to notice something crazy, strange going on next door, and it was going to be Evil Ed still alive trying to resurrect Jerry.
So what the hell? He been chilling there for years?
I guess regaining his strength or something. At this point, he's been stabbed with a stake. He's been hit with a crucifix.
I was going to say Cole was on his knees servicing Ed now.
He's had years of having his fucking butthole stretched.
With wrapping up Fright Night, what piece of memorabilia from this classic film would you want to take home?
I want that Iowa pencil cup so I can get
Whoa.
Caitlin Clark to sign it and make some fucking profit, baby.
I need you to do that and then say, do you know where this cup is from?
I know you know, girl, but just so you know.
Let me get Peter Vincent's Vampire Slaying Kit for fans of HBFS and the guys and gals who know our lore. If that fucking bat ever finds its way back into my house, I'll be ready to fuck this motherfucker's world up with this bat slaying kit.
You mean like the one I see over your shoulder
Don't
right
say
now?
that. Don't even joke about it. He could have gave me rabies.
I had a note here for memorabilia that it's just like, can I just have Chris Sarandon? I know he's not an object, but man.
You can buy a little Jack Skellington figurine. That counts.
What do you want to do, suck his dick?
You said that, not me. So I'm going to go with...
Hootie wants to be his familiar.
I would love it to be. I don't know about all that, though. And
Handyman Hootie.
The total. Sweating, baking hammers on carpet. Peter Vincent's toolbox for fighting vampires is what I will end up taking along with Joy, because it looked cool, and it looked like we only got about 5% of what was actually in that thing.
Yeah, it felt like a cock
He had a
tease.
fucking gun in there. Does Fright Night crack use guys' top 3 or even your top vampire movies at all?
I feel like I need to consult the list. Off the top of my head, I'm going to say no.
You got your Lost Boys. You got your
John Carpenter's vampires, yeah.
fucking
Dracula.
Holy fucking shit! From Dusk Till Dawn. Your Nosferatu. If you're a fucking if you're one of those type of
Robert
people,
Eggers'
that has
Nosferatu
has to
coming out
choose
soon.
some hoity-toity ass movie.
Is it 40 Days a Night?
If it's top 3,
30 Days a Night.
This is tough,
30
man.
days.
It's close.
It's
crazy
like
close.
2 for me. I really like this movie.
I think it might be.
I mean, it's right behind
I have
Lost
to
Boys,
sit down.
in my opinion.
I'm going to refrain. I need a list. I feel like I'm forgetting a lot.
Lost Boys is used to show.
I think Hootie liked Bordello of Blood a lot, though, didn't he?
I really did like, bro. I rewatched it a while back. It is awful.
Dog, number 1, Vampire in Brooklyn. I got to have me the fucking Eddie Murphy sucking on some blood, dog.
I knew I was going to forget something. There you go.
There it is.
That's 1, 2, and 3.
What's the one with the Naked Gun guy? That's a whole other vampire movie.
Oh, yeah.
You throw
Dead and Loving
Leslie
It.
Nielsen?
That's Leslie Nielsen.
Dead and
Dracula
Loving It?
Dead and Loving It, yeah.
Dead Loving. Here we go.
We need a list. I need to do more
that a horror
homework before I
film?
can give you an answer.
Can we do that?
But if you want to do any extracurricular activity on this, check out Thirst. It's a 2009, South Korean.
Japanese, South Korean.
Korean. It's the dude from The Host.
Let the Right One In just came to mind.
Let the Right One In is dope. Apparently those are both good, like the original and the remake.
Oh, yeah, they're both great. Go with the original, but they're both great. Good question. Good thought experiment. I have to come back to you on that one. Queen of the Damned. Fuck. What about the whole Underworld series?
Just don't say
I know somebody.
Don't say that
I know
shit too loud.
somebody.
I think Raul's fucking nipples just perked up as soon as you said
Yeah,
that.
no doubt about that. All right, boys, let's put it to bed. Get out of grade books. What letter grades we dropping in for Mr. Howland here? From 1985's Fright Night.
It's going to be one of my shorter ones. Brother, this is the way.
So 5.5 minutes.
Brother, this is the way. This is going to be a short one for me. I talked about it during our 6-pack mini episode. But this movie is a prime example of Professor Joy being blinded by nostalgia goggles. Man, I fucking love this movie. My bias doesn't allow me to give 1985's Fright Night anything less than a B. It has everything I like in a 80s horror movie. Humor, memorable characters with engrossing arcs, awesome makeup and practical effects, a realistic setting with realistic decisions being made by the leads as opposed to forced and stupid choices that exist only to create a disingenuous, compelling plot. All three acts are engaging, leaving dull moments few and far between. Honestly, off the top of my head, I can't really name a single one. While it doesn't quite reach the heights of The Lost Boys with me in terms of nostalgia, it keeps pace stride for stride when it comes to watchability, entertainment, and just being a quality film. 1985's Fright Night is a couple hours well spent and more than earned its place as a vampire horror classic.
Fright Night from 1985 is one I am glad to add to my own official horror canon. I'd seen the remake during its time in theaters, so I had an idea of its plot, but nada on its tone. As with so many big movies of that 1980s horror boom, the effects here are freaking great. Big shout out to Vamp Amy. She was genuinely scary. I love the look. I love the performance. Evil Ed's wolf untransform was dope, reminiscent of the GOAT tier American Werewolf in London sequence. The lead actors are solid, and the idea of Vincent Price as a real-life vampire killer is pure gold. My biggest strike against Fright Night is the familiar character Billy. It just didn't work for me. Didn't understand it, and the more I read about it, the more that became true. As far as nitpicks, I had hoped, likely due to the Colin Farrell portrayal, that Jerry would be more scary Jerry, and the Evil Ed ending is pretty meh. Then again, those bits would have shaken the movie into a different tone altogether. This is solid 80s cheese and a B for director, not actor, Tom Holland. Speaking of Tom Holland, shout out to his better half Zendaya yet again, because I never get a chance to discuss her in any other capacity on this show.
Fright Night was a film I have watched before. However, after watching it for the podcast, I'm not sure I ever truly watched the film. I feel like this film was always on cable in my youth, and I caught pieces here and there several times. And with that, the first thing that really came off the screen to me was Chris Sarandon is absolutely incredible. I've said it throughout the show. I'm saying it again here. As the vampire Jerry in this film, and at times just overtakes scene with his oozing of charisma. The effects work looks effective throughout. Mostly the Evil Ed transformation gets a big shout out here. Another piece that I don't usually touch on, being the score and the soundtrack, I actually picked up on throughout the film and listened to it on Spotify. And I gotta say, if you have time, the soundtrack's actually pretty banging. It's a bit a long-winded review for myself. Usually I'm pretty short and sweet here, but I was just blown away at how great this film was. And with that, I give Fright Night a B+.
Yeah, he gives the movie a B+, but he gives fucking Chris Sarandon's cock a big fat A.
I tell you, man, it was too much.
Drop his A on his C, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, good
Ass
job by
on
you,
his
Mr.
cock?
Holland.
What the fuck are you
You
talking
got
about?
it. You got it. I'm
Okay.
glad you had to spell it out, but you
Okay.
got it. Good job by you, Mr. Holland. Looks like you are moving on to the next level of the Horrible Film School. All right, boys, let's recap the audience score guesses from Rotten Tomatoes. If you're new to the show, we take guesses at what the audience would have ranked this bad boy on the Rotten Tomatoes percentage scale. If you're within 5 points, you get to choose what we watch next. If not, you suck, and we've got to watch something at random. So, as a recap, start with the low man who claims to love it so much. Mr. Joseph went with a 65. Mr. Hootie said 72. I said an 80. Actual audience score is a 76.
I think we got us
We're
a
at an
fucking
impasse.
face-off, boys. Woo!
Guys get a clean swing at the plate.
I'm going to go back and edit it. Oh, I said an 81. Hootie's so good at this game. Let's just give him this fucking dub.
You know,
Even.
But that's not how it works in the real world, Mr. Hootie.
My birthday's coming up, okay? Not even a present.
Joey, do us a favor. Settle this dispute.
All right, guys. What we got here is a showdown. This one right here is more of a toss-up in the air. Who was not approached to play Dr. Sam Loomis in Halloween? I'm going to list these off. Donald Pleasance, Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, or Vincent Price?
Vincent Price.
Ding, 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 ding! We got a correct answer. John Carpenter approached Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee to play the role of Dr. Sam Loomis, but both turned down due to the low pay. Lee later said it was the biggest mistake he had ever made in his career. Dr. Loomis was eventually played by Donald Pleasance, who received $20,000 for 5 days' work. Vincent Price was not involved in the project.
My thought process here, boys, because I haven't had a movie in a long time, and I have a list ready to go of films I want to cover that we've yet to do.
We'll be 75 years old by the time you fucking get to like the third one.
It's warming up. It's about to be tank top season. It's about to be all the little critters are coming out.
Sun's out, guns out.
Also, a new species of this was found in South America recently. You can read all about it. It's a big boy. But in 1997, Ice Cube and Jennifer Lopez fought the anaconda.
It's kinda time.
You don't even know this anaconda.
Show him the condas, Joy.
27-inch pythons.
The
I
pythons,
just
brother.
put a muscle on my fucking back.
And yes, you can look it up. They literally just found a 20-foot anaconda in South America.
Holy shit. Was it Chris Sarandon's penis?
It's the largest anaconda on record. It's so big, they believe it is a new species of anaconda.
Damn, that's impressive. That's Johnny Wide type stuff. Your dick is so big, you're a different classification of human
You're
being.
like, well, wait a minute.
Hell yeah, going back to the 90s. It's been a while. Can already see Owen Wilson's nose in the jungle.
Oh, there's a snake over there. Oh, it's a really big one, dude.
And I have a short list of horror films that I remember from a very young age, and this is on it.
I remember this, like, as soon as this got on VHS, we wore this motherfucker out.
I even had to look up if it was even a horror film, because it's so
It's
playful.
borderline, yeah.
Oh, people get eaten in this movie, so I'd say so.
Oh, yes, they do.
All right, folks, we're going to hop on YouTube and watch the trailer for Anaconda from 1997. Hop on our own YouTube, and you can watch the video along with our reactions there. And we will be right back. Yeah, boys, that's the trailer. What's that Rotten Tomatoes fan score for that bad boy? For that big old condo.
I'm sticking with the 35. I feel like this movie is ass cheeks.
Audience though, bro. Audience.
They don't. It's not gonna be. It's not gonna be as cherished as our family made it out to be.
I know.
Trust me.
I haven't seen it. I think I'm going to be disappointed.
It's been about 20 years, Price, since I've even thought about it.
But like you two, I wore this thing out on VHS. Wore it the hell out.
I'm going to go with a 44. Go with my lucky fours there.
What are you trying to do? Price is right, my ass.
What are you at? You said 30-something.
35.
That's 10 off of you.
Yeah, but it's within 5 of what I can get.
Yeah, fuck you and fuck Hoodie.
We're going to make Chris to do his scores first from now on.
Alrighty, folks. Thank you for listening. Check out our website, horriblefilmschool.com, to find links to all our podcast platforms, our Instagram, and our merch store. Buy something cool. Get them fresh tanks in. Summertime right around the corner. Give us a follow everywhere you can. Leave a review everywhere you can. Send us some leads on some cheap old mansions in cozy suburban neighborhoods. I'm going to say goodbye and offer my support to women working nights and raising horny teenage boys all alone. You the real MVP.
As always, if you're hearing our voices, tell somebody you know. Spread that love. Spread that campaign. Tell them all about the Horrible Film School. And strap in for our next episode where we go to South America and chase an anaconda. And I'm out.
Thanks for all the likes, the subs, the listens, the follows, the downloads. We really appreciate you guys and gals' support, as well as your time and attention. Be sure to join us in the next one when we check out 1997's Anaconda. Class dismissed.